Palestinians in the Shu'afat refugee camp in occupied East Jerusalem have launched a strike in protest against a days-long siege by Israeli forces. The Israeli army has blocked entrances and exits since Saturday after a soldier was shot dead in an attack at one of the checkpoints. Those in the camp say they're being collectively punished and are holding marches and a vigil on Wednesday. Nida Ibrahim is next to the camp in the blockaded town of Anata.
This has been the lives of Palestinians since Saturday, showing their IDs to the Israeli soldiers here to be able to enter or exit the Shu'afat refugee camp through Anata village, where we are right now. But cars haven't been allowed to enter. The Israeli forces say that the perpetrator of a shooting attack that left one Israeli soldier killed is from the Shu'afat refugee camp. But people say this is a policy of collective punishment, whereby the whole town, the whole neighborhood is being blockaded. And that's why people have started a strike. The shops have closed, the people have stopped going to work, as well as schools.
People here are living under one of the worst blockades, an unjust and unjustified siege. An attack took place here 5 days ago, and people here have nothing to do with. The Israeli army has been raiding and closing off roads, not even allowing medics to move.
Tension has already been on the rise for a few weeks now in different areas in the occupied West Bank. Just to give you an idea, in the past month alone, 3 Israeli soldiers were killed in different shooting attacks. There's a new group in Nablus, Palestinian young men who are taking up arms and vowing to keep doing shooting attacks. They're called the Lion's Den, and they claimed responsibility for killing an Israeli soldier on Tuesday. In addition to another Palestinian group in Jenin, Palestinians say they will continue seeking revenge.
Headliner: Israeli forces kill Palestinian in West Bank ministry. Dated October 12, 2022. Israeli forces have shot dead a Palestinian in a refugee camp in the occupied West Bank. The Palestinian Health Ministry has said Usama Adawi was killed by occupation live fire to the stomach in the Al Arub camp, in southern West Bank. Official Palestinian news agency Wafa said he was killed in confrontations with Israeli forces who shot at Palestinians and used tear gas. Another person was injured in the Al Arub camp and was in moderate condition in a hospital, Wafa has also reported. The Israeli ministry said soldiers pursued people who were throwing rocks toward vehicles on a side road near the camp. An army statement released by the Israeli IDF, quote, soldiers spotted the suspects adjacent to the refugee camp and responded with live fire towards them. A hit was identified, end quote. The shooting comes a day after an Israeli soldier was shot and killed in the northern West Bank, prompting a continued manhunt. Security forces are also in pursuit of a gunman who killed a soldier at a checkpoint in Israeli-occupied East Jerusalem on Saturday. Palestinians went on strike on Wednesday in occupied East Jerusalem to protest the Israeli operation in the Shu'afat refugee camp next to the checkpoint. Police have been setting up checkpoints in the camp and deploying groups of armed officers to question residents. The heavy police presence have sparked intense confrontation with residents. Headliner: Yair Lapid meets with top security officials following East Jerusalem unrest. Dated October 13th, 2022. Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid holds consultations with top security officials following last night's unrest in East Jerusalem. A statement from his office says the briefing also dealt with the continued preparations for the remainder of the Sukkot holiday, which runs through Monday evening. Lapid was quoted as saying, quote, the security forces are deployed throughout the country and are making possible all the holiday events of Jerusalem and in general, end quote. He adds that Israel is determined to let the festivities go ahead while acting with a strong and uncompromising hand against terror and violent disturbances. That's the latest news, and now my thoughts. The conflict has gone on far, far too long. And while the rest of the world concentrates on the billions of dollars spent in a CIA-backed coup in Ukraine, as well as a potential looming threat between China and Taiwan, it seems most of the public, and of course, conveniently, the legacy media, has forgotten about the oldest conflict in the world, Israel-Palestine. In the international status, as far as Israel is concerned, the jurisdiction of the Palestinian Authority is derived from the Oslo Accords. The Oslo Accords are a pair of agreements between Israel and the Palestinian Liberation Organization, headed under the late Yasser Arafat, which was signed before Bill Clinton in 1993 in Washington, D.C., under which it acquired under control over cities in the Palestinian territories, named Area A, while the surrounding countryside came either under Israeli security and the Palestinian Civil Administration, which is Area B, or complete Israel Civil Administration, Area C. Under the Oslo Accords, as a security measure, Israel has insisted on its control over all land, sea, and air border crossings into the Palestinian territories, and the right to set import and export controls. And this is the reason why you have a conflict which involves Palestinians and Israelis, as well as a number of others, including water resources, future and financing, and of course, the military occupation of the West Bank. And not to mention the illegal building of Israeli-only settlements in the West Bank while they raise Palestinian homes. This is against the United Nations and European Union, who have called the settlements illegal under international law. And of course, Israeli disputes this, including several scholars and commenters, Israeli, of course, disagree with the assessment that the settlements are illegal, citing in 2005 recent historical trends to back up their argument. On a practical level, some objections voiced by Palestinians are that settlements divert resources needed by Palestinian towns, such as arable land, water, and other resources, and that settlements reduce Palestinians' ability to travel freely because of the Israeli security checkpoints, which grow by the week. And for those who are saying, well, at least the Palestinians can control their own destiny if they just stop attacking Israelis. They are being attacked by an army, a standing army, for which the Palestinians do not have. They're being held under a military occupation. Name me a country that is under this type of duress for as long as it's been going. With Israel's position that it needs to retain some West Bank land and settlements as a buffer in case of future aggression, that some settlements are legitimate, and they claim that they do not violate any agreement, well, the United States and the coalition partners are certainly not going to suddenly put an end to this illegal occupation and military injunction, because the United States considers Israel its strongest ally in the world. And as well as having a number of your congressmen from the Democrat and Republican parties who are allied with Israel, the Palestinians will never get true justice and a fair shake to live amongst the Israelis like they did before the Balfour Agreement.